Welcome. So today will be the first session for the English group course. And yes, I will be your tutor, Jayce Batallones. And we'll quickly start off with an intro about me, then an intro into the course, and then finishing off with the English tests, which are verbal reasoning and reading comprehension. Okay, so hi, I am Jayce Batallones, a third-year Bachelor of Computer Science student at Monash University. I enjoy making videos on the side, and I am an Elizabeth Blackburn School of Sciences graduate from the class of 2019. I got around 1 to 2 superiors back when I did the NOSL, John Monash, and Elizabeth Blackburn exams, and I've tutored over 50 plus students over the past 4 years. So an intro to the English syllabus. Students who will be sitting this course are those who are applying for either McGraw, Melbourne High, Suzanne and NOSL, and Elizabeth Blackburn School of Sciences. Each week we will cover a different topic that will cover a different exam. For those applying from Elizabeth Blackburn School of Sciences, you will not have to attend the writing classes. We'll mainly be focusing on the different question types within each week and tell you about different tips and preparing for excelling at those types. Okay, the session structure. These will be in small groups of 3 to 6, either online or in person, depending on the location of the students. A breakdown for the 1 hour is we'll have 15 to 45 minutes of explanation and practice, then a 15-minute online quiz on the lesson's topics. The tools and resources which JT uses is number 1, the Google Jamboard. That is our online whiteboard where we will do online practice problems together, as well as write down any notes. Number 2, we have Notion. Notion is where additional practice problems will be held, as well as any additional notes that I might have. The third one is Discord or SMS. These are mainly for communication purposes, as I am most active on Discord and my phone. We do have email as well, but I'm not as active on that. And lastly, there is the JT website where all the assessments will be held. We'll talk more in depth about it in the later slides. The English homework outline. So each week there will be set work that needs to be completed before the next session. So there will be the daily spaced learning quiz, which is 5 to 25 minutes per day, depending on the intensity which you select. Then there's also the subtopic question quizzes, which is between 10 to 30 minutes per week. Then there's also an additional essay or creative write-up. We'll alternate between them over the weeks, and those will be 30 minutes. There's also the subtopic practice questions that are available on Notion, but that's optional and only for students who require more help. So in total, for English, you will be spending around 85 plus minutes per week on homework. Okay, the course goals. So our main goal is to get a superior for creative expression, verbal reasoning, and reading comprehension. In the creative expression exam, it will either be a persuasive piece or a creative piece. It will vary between the year and the time that you do the exam. The main goal is to strengthen your written skills in both the creative and persuasive aspect. And to number 2, apply key techniques to stand out in those written assessments. As for the goals for verbal reasoning, you want to develop a wide vocabulary, as well as improve knowledge on word relationships and deduction skills. And ideally, we're looking to complete questions in about 30 seconds. As for reading comprehension, I want students to be able to understand all types of texts and their meanings, master grammar and punctuation, as well as improve their speed to around 36 seconds per question. Okay, session 0's goals. So once again, we want to learn about the JT English course, familiarize ourselves with the JT learning platform, and to complete the orientation test to find out where you sit in regard to the exam content. For those interested in joining, please check out the JT Tuition Frequently Asked Questions page, and then contact me via my email, support@jcbatallones.com. If you enjoyed this session and want to find more about the actual teaching style, stay tuned for session 1. Now we'll move on to the intro to how the website works. Welcome. So today I'm going to intro you into how to use the JT website. When you first log in, after making your account, you'll be greeted to this first page, which is called Study. In this page, students will have access to the Spaced Learning Quiz, which will allow students to master questions of their choice. In order to activate Spaced Learning, students must activate the gear icon on the right and hit Enabled and from there, select their intensity for the amount of questions they want each day. Students who use this feature have a higher chance of getting in, as they will be more prepared compared to other students. They also have access to a self-practice section, which will generate a quiz based on the questions they have selected. In order to enable the spaced learning quiz, you must first add items to your study bank. In order to do so, you must first click on the Available Items tab, and from there, you will be greeted with all the items, quizzes, questions, and collections that you might add to your study. As an example, if we look at the VR synonyms row, the hat is highlighted in blue, indicating that it is already a part of the study. To remove this item from the study, you just need to click on the blue hat icon, and it will remove it. Any row indicated by a uncolored hat icon indicates that it is not a part of your study bank. Another neat feature about this page is if you ever just want to practice this quiz in particular, you can click on the Go to Quiz button, and it will take you to that quiz page. Each student will be provided different access to the various collections based on the classes which they have signed up for. For example, a student applying for John Monash Science School will only have access to the numerical reasoning, mathematics, science reasoning, science analysis and reporting, and science interest in communication collection. More questions will be added over time. In the study items section, you are able to view what items are already added to your study. They'll also indicate the amount of quizzes as well as the total questions you can potentially practice. In this section, it also indicates your progress in regard to how well you know the content. As for the progress, we can see that this user has only covered 12.79% of the algebra questions and is a novice at them. There's also a remove all button to remove them all from the study. Ideally, students are looking to add all these items to their study plan after they have completed the content lesson on that topic. Now we have the exam section. In here, practice exams will be provided. At the moment, all students will only have access to the orientation exams, depending on the classes they have signed up for. Each of these exams is 15 minutes and is a shortened version of the actual exams, just to gauge where a student is at the beginning of their tuition session. And they can view the open, upcoming, and past exams in this section. Next, we have the collections page, and in this page, we have the different exams and their various subtopics. For example, mathematics has been broken down into their 15 topics, and students are able to access and do any quizzes based on any of the subtopics provided. By doing so, this will allow them to get better at solving particular questions that they might struggle with. They can also choose the mode. Practice mode allows for students to get feedback after each question has been submitted. Exam mode will show the results after a student has submitted their exam. And timed exam mode is similar to exam mode, but will mimic the time requirements of the actual exam. Length just indicates the amount of questions you would like, and subtopic showcases the subtopics within this topic that a student might want to practice. In assignments, this is where a lot of the writing tasks will be assigned, and students will be asked to complete one before each session. Next, we have the insights or results page, and this will just showcase to parents and students how a student is going in regard to their progress against the cohort, as well as the average scores for each of the tests and exams. This is helpful to know, as it will allow parents to see whether their child is progressing or whether to let the student know if they should spend more time on a certain topic or chapter. In here, you can also view the attempts, which will showcase all the past quizzes and tests that a student has completed. You can also click on the results tab, and it will showcase all the stats in regards to quizzes taken, questions answered, and assignments completed. This is also useful to know what quizzes or tests the student has completed in the past. That is a quick intro to the JT website. Hopefully this showcases what resources are available and will allow students to have a more clear idea of what each section has to offer. Hopefully that video showcases how to use the website, as well as what it has to offer. Okay, now let's move on to your orientation quizzes. We'll start off with verbal reasoning. This will be a 15-minute, 30-question, multiple choice test where you're allowed to use one working out paper to complete this exam. Yep, we'll touch back in 15 minutes. Okay, thank you for completing that. Now we'll move on to reading comprehension. This test will be 15 minutes and have 25 questions, and you are allowed one working out paper to complete this. So start it up now and we'll talk in a bit. Okay, thank you for completing those 2 tests and staying this far. I hope this was insightful into how the JT program works. I hope to see you next week. Thanks for joining.